Fellow Kenyans, the second path out of the COVID fog for Kenya is an opportunity with a promise. When we reported the first case of COVID-19 more than 15 months ago, the idea of a vaccine was nowhere in our minds. 1 year later, in March 2021, we were able to roll out a national vaccine deployment plan, and our strategy was to vaccinate 10 million adults by June of this year and approximately 16 million by June of 2023. But inspired by acceleration doctrine, which is about constantly increasing the speed of achieving our goal, we revised our vaccine plan, and instead of vaccinating 10 million adults by June of 2022, we expect that we will vaccinate the entire adult population of Kenya, which is 26 million people, by the end of this year. In fact, by Christmas of this year, we intend to have vaccinated over 10 million adults, according to our experts, and we will have built a capacity to vaccinate 150,000 people every day as of August of 2021. And this accelerated plan will be aided by a few swift, bold actions and programs. For instance, we have already ordered 10 million vaccines from Johnson & Johnson, with the first consignment arriving in Kenya in August of 2021. But in the process of negotiating with this company, we also have managed to get a lower price. For the price of 10 million vaccines, we will be able to have them deliver 13 million doses. And because the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is administered using a single shot, the speed of rolling out our vaccination program will therefore be accelerated. Using these vaccines and others in the pipeline, this is how we will vaccinate over 10 million Kenyans by Christmas of 2021 and 26 million Kenyans by the end of 2022. And if a vaccine for underage populations is registered by early next year, we intend to vaccinate an extra 4 million young adults by June of 2022. With a vaccinated population of 30 million people, this will allow us to begin the journey for herd immunity against this pandemic, and this is our intention for the next 12 months. Today, I'm happy to note that a path out of this uncertainty is beginning to emerge, and the emerging path has two sides to it. The first is a challenge, and the second is an opportunity that has a promise. So let me begin with the path that is a challenge. For the last 15 months, our efforts of fighting this pandemic can only be described as containment seesaw. And I call it a seesaw because sometimes we win on one front and experience a loss on the other. For instance, the highest positivity rate this year was at 26.6% in the fourth week of March 2021. This forced us to zone out and lock down the COVID hotspots of Nairobi, Kajiado, Kiambu, Nakuru, and Machakos. These counties at the time accounted for 70% of all COVID-positive new cases. The lockdown brought the positivity rate down to 7.8% in May of this year. And as we ease the lockdown measures in the 5 zoned counties, the western region of our country and the neighboring Republic of Uganda experienced a new wave. Because of the unusual nature of this virus, our gains in Nairobi, Kajiado, Kiambu, Nakuru, and Machakos were nullified by the western attack. Now Busia, Kakamega, Nyamira, Kisii, Migori, Siaya, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Trans Nzoia, Bungoma, Bomet, Vihiga, and Kericho are on heightened containment measures from the 17th of June of this year. In fact, out of every 5 positive cases in Kenya a fortnight ago, 2 were from the western region. And what is worse is that this region has experienced a high positivity rate of 21% compared to the national average of 9.1% at that time. This swing between loss and gain in the fight against the pandemic is what I'm calling the seesaw containment. You win in one theater of a battle and lose another. And by default, this swing has created some form of survival instinct in our population. The fight against COVID is both a social as well as a health challenge. And as such, we aspire for herd immunity in the health arena. And we seem to have built what psychological experts called herd instinct in the social arena. We seem to have built a national consensus on what we must do to defeat this pandemic, and I believe it is steadily working.